I'm Linda, and I grew up in Melbourne, Victoria. And my parents came to Australia from China in the late 1940s, and so I'm second generation Chinese. So when I was at school, I think there weren't that many Chinese children at the school, so we stood out more. There were other cultural groups there as well, for example, Italian children, Maltese, a few Greek, but I think visually Asian people stand out more, so sometimes that would attract attention, perhaps not always desirable attention. Mm. I think from the point of view of um, the fact of sheer numbers, there are more people of other ethnic backgrounds, so it's more common for people to see people that look different and speak other languages and eat different food. So I think in terms of the fact that people come across it more often, it's changed. And probably there's more understanding about different customs and cultures and religious beliefs. And but I think there's still a lack of understanding amongst some groups, and I think there's still work to be done on that. I think perhaps there's a lack of understanding of why sometimes people have come to the country in the first place, the circumstances for refugees and asylum seekers in their own country, and that it's not necessarily a positive choice that they're making to leave their country, but it's almost like they're being driven out for whatever reason. They may be facing persecution, their lives may be at risk. And so, most people are looking at the future and the safety and welfare of their families. So that's when they sort of, basically are escaping from their country. And for many of them, it would be dangerous for them to go back. So I think sometimes that some people don't understand that, and that there are a lot of difficulties, of course, for those people when they come to this country, not the least of which is language, but lots of other things and lots of changes that they need to get used to and work out how to survive in this country and work their way around the way things are done and find out the services that they can obtain support from and things like that. Well, for many years I've worked as an ESL teacher, which is a teacher who teaches English to migrants and refugees, and then you hear now much more about asylum seekers as well. And that's been important to me, I guess, from my own experience and my own background, how important it is for people to be able to communicate in the language of the country they're living in, because otherwise you'll never become independent and you won't be able to integrate easily into the community. And I think that's so important if you're going to live here permanently. So I've enjoyed that work and found that interesting, challenging and rewarding. Then last year I was a participant on a program called Opening Doors, which was a community leadership program which was developing leadership skills in participants so that they could develop a community project which would address social isolation. And recently I've started working in a local council at the information desk, so giving people information about the services at the centre or I think probably one of the hardest things for people who are born in Australia or come to Australia as a young child with parents from another culture to be able to accommodate the culture that they've come from, and it's important for them to appreciate that, but at the same time they need to be able to fit into the Australian culture and society, and sometimes that can be difficult because there are pressures from your parents to observe certain customs or uphold certain principles, while at the same time there's this pull from the people around you and the environment that you live in and culture that you live in that may be different, and so there's this bit of a tug of war and you're trying to straddle both cultures, and that can be difficult.